Hi students, in this video I'll be going through the 2023 A Math Paper 2 question 7A. Alright, but before I go through the question, I would like to review some concepts regarding the period of trigonometric graphs. Alright, so over here I've drawn the graph of y equals to cosine 2x, okay, using Desmos. Okay, so we want to focus on this number 2 over here. Okay, so we want to focus on this number 2 over here and how it affects the period of the graph. Okay, so over here, let's take the x-axis to be the time axis, okay? So from a time of 0, okay, so time of 0 here to a time of 2 pi, right? Okay, looking at this first graph, how many complete cosine waves do you see? Right, so a complete cosine wave will constitute going from the maximum, okay, then going down to reach the minimum over here, and then going back up to a maximum. So this will be one cycle, okay, from here to here. Okay, let's call it this the first cycle. Okay, then go down from the maximum again, go down to the minimum, and then going back up to the next maximum. Right, then this would be the second cycle. Okay, so first cycle, second cycle. Right, so we realize that if the number is 2, then from a time of 0 to 2 pi, right, you will actually see two complete cosine waves, right? Okay, so what is the period of the cosine wave for y equals to cosine 2x? Alright, so if you recall, period is the time for one complete wave. So one complete wave will be from here all the way to here, and you see that the time taken is pi. So for this first graph, the period will be pi, right? Okay, so how do we compute this period pi, assuming we don't have a graph? Okay, so we can do that very easily. All we need to do is always take 2 pi, okay, divide by the number in front of x, okay, of the trigo function. So the number in front of x is 2, then we divide by 2. So you get the period pi, okay? So as we can see from the graph, we get the period pi, right? Okay, so let's take a look at the second one, y equals to cosine 3x. Okay, so if using the same logic as above, okay, what we have learned from above, okay, the same understanding from above. Okay, if you want to calculate the period, right, we will take 2 pi divided by the number in front of x. So the number in front of x for this second graph is 3, right? So we will divide by 3. So we get the period to be 2 pi over 3. Okay, so let's see from this graph, right, is the period really 2 pi over 3? So the period is the time for one complete graph. So from maximum, go to the minimum, and then come back up to the maximum. And you can see 2 pi over 3 over here, 2 pi over 3. So the period is 2 pi over 3, right? Okay, so let's see from 0 to 2 pi, right? Okay, how many graphs should we complete cosine waves okay, should we be expecting, right? How many complete cosine waves we should be expecting? Okay, so 0 to 2 pi. Okay, so we have first cycle here already. Okay, then from here, go down to the minimum, go back up to the maximum. This will be the second cycle. Then from the maximum, go down to the minimum, go back up to the maximum. This will be the third cycle. So indeed, okay, where the number is 3, we will have 3 complete cosine waves between 0 and 2 pi, right? Okay, so let's try to apply what we have just learned to question 7a. So it's just a 2-mark question, right? Right, so the graph of y equals to a cosine bx has one maximum point at 7 pi over 210, and the next maximum point after this has coordinates 9 pi over 210. Right, so what they mean is, let's say we have this cosine graph, so maximum to minimum, okay, then go back to the maximum, right? So this one, Okay, let's say over here there's a maximum. The coordinate is 7 pi over 210. Then at the very next maximum is 9 pi over 210. Right? So what's the period of the graph? Okay, so if you ever notice from one maximum to the next maximum, okay, you subtract the timing, you find the difference in the timing, that will give you the period. So let's say for this maximum, the time is 4 pi over 3, right? The previous maximum is 2 pi over 3, so the period will be 4 pi over 3 minus 2 pi over 3, you will get 2 pi over 3, right? Indeed, that is the period, right? Okay, so this means that we can actually compute the period for this graph. Okay, so the period will be 9 pi over 2 minus 7 pi over 2. So that will give us 2 pi over 2, which is pi. So the period is pi. Okay, so you still remember how did we compute the period? We will take 2 pi divided by the number in front of b to get this period. Alright, so in other words, 2 pi over b will give me pi. Right? So b is going to be equals to, okay, we just swap place, or if you want to do one extra step, we will just cross multiply out first. Okay, so 2 pi over b equals to pi. So 2 pi will be equals to b pi. Then we'll divide by pi on both sides. Okay, so we'll divide by pi. Okay, so b will be equals to 2 pi over pi, which will be equals to 2. Okay, so the value of b is 2, right? Okay, so now we need to find the value of a, but it's actually very easy to find. Okay, so now that we know b is 2, we can write out the equation as this already. Okay, so we only have one unknown a over here. So all we need to do is just sub in one pair of points. So this is x, this is y, right? Okay, so when x equals to 7 pi over 2, y will be 10. So 10 will be equals to a cosine 2 times 7 pi over 2, right? Okay, so will be cosine 7 pi. Okay, if you compute cosine 7 pi with your calculator, you realize that it's negative 1. Okay, in other words, a will be negative 10. Okay, so a is negative 10, b is 2. Right, so the equation is y equals to negative 10 cosine 2x. And one maximum point is at 7 pi over 10, the next one is at 9 pi over 210, right? Okay, so keep in mind this because I bring you to decimals now and we will draw this graph. Y equals to minus 10 cosine 2x, right? Okay, so I've drawn out the graph already. Okay, so you can clearly see over here, there's one maximum. Okay, this. Okay, this one. Okay, so this maximum is 7 pi over 210. And the very next maximum is 9 pi over 210. Okay, so this is how the graph looks like. Okay, so this is the cosine graph. Okay, and because there's a 10, negative 10 in front, a is negative 10, right? That's why the graph is split. Okay, it's split vertically. That means instead of from maximum go to minimum, then go to maximum. Okay, this one starts at time 0, it starts at minimum, goes to maximum, then go to minimum. Right, and the amplitude, you can see the graph is very tall because the amplitude is 10. Okay, means the graph is the top half of the graph will be from 0 to 10, and then the bottom half will be from 0 to negative 10. Right, so that's how the trigo graph works. Okay, so I hope from this question you have a better understanding of how the number in front of the x okay, in the trigo function, right? Okay, how it affects the period of the graph. Okay.